It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio with us today. Yavapai County Supervisor for District 2, Tom Thurman, back with us. Welcome.
Love to be here.
Good to have you here. All right, let's jump right into it, okay?
All right, let's do that.
Last time you were here, we talked a little bit about District 2 and all that good stuff, but let's get an update from you. How are things going in our district right now?
Actually, you know, pretty good. When I was elected, it was a little bit tough. There was always this rock throwing, if you will, from one side of the mountain to the other. Hopefully, most of that is gone. We do have some problems. There's some concerns with Yavapai College that there's not enough money here in the Verde staying on this side of the mountain, but we're working through that, and I think that'll come to some sort of an agreement, and so they're aware of it. The squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thing. We've been very busy. Cornville just had its 130th birthday.
Happy birthday, Cornville. We saw that big sign.
That's exactly right. I have the bulk of the square miles. Supervisor Davis, who is actually retiring, he's got the bigger towns. He's got Sedona and the Village Oak Creek and Cottonwood, Clarkdale, Jerome. I have basically everything south of that, downriver. And it's been interesting, and I enjoy the place. We've done a lot of good. We put in over a $500,000 pedestrian bridge over Beaver Creek, down on Lake Montezuma Avenue in Beaver Creek, and that was very dangerous. People were walking across a bridge there that is at an angle, and people are just going way too fast, as normal people do, on a rush to work or something. And so I said that's enough of that, and so I got the board to agree. And so we put that in, and we're doing some sidewalks along some streets now so the kids are safe over there. As I mentioned before, Cornville, we just had a party at the Windmill Park. We're working on with the Forest Service. There's 80 acres up on the hill above Windmill Park that they have. It's an isolated 80 acres, so we're seeing if we can do either some trades or something and put a little trail system on that and do a bridge over Oak Creek there. So those two parks are looking pretty good. We're also still working on the Black Canyon Trail coming from Phoenix through Yavapai County. We're not far now from the top of the mountain, and we'll be dropping down into the Grief Hill area.
That's going to be a huge project.
It is huge. Right. Eventually, you know, it's going to cross the Verde River, hopefully around 1,000 trails, and go on up, hit the Coconino Trail system, and get into the Chavez Trail, and that goes up to Flagstaff, and then also over to Williams. And that's where the sheep have been drove for the summertime areas for over 150 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of history there, and the mountain bikers love it. It's really, really discovered.
Good challenge for them, huh?
Good challenge, and you can pick your elevation that way. You can be in Black Canyon City in the dead of winter and be riding all winter long. You can come up here and just enjoy the cool in the summertime up on the rim and over Mingus, and come back down here in the valley for spring and fall. So
yeah, you got a good variety, don't you?
That's exactly right. Yeah. And so we've used. I came up with the idea that, you know, let's go ahead and use people that get in trouble. They have to do community service hours.
That's a great idea.
And they've been helping me do trail building on the Black Canyon Trail. And now we're using trustees, inmates over at the jail, to do the same thing and, you know, work along the roads and things. It's not chain gangs like you're used to hearing about in Southeast America, but they're being guarded well, but it gets them out. They really enjoy that, and hopefully they can see what it is to work physically all day long and not be doing drugs, and maybe the recidivism is not going to be so bad.
That's really the goal of that too, is to give them some purpose, right?
Absolutely. Right. You know, there's more to life than just getting high, and so I'm hopefully that'll continue to work well.
Did you get any feedback from them?
Yeah, as I say, most of them that I deal with, that I've worked with, say they love it because they get out of town. They get out of the jail, not only getting out of jail, but they get out of town. And because most of the areas in Yavapai County we use them are rural. And then when I'm building trails, they're out in the boonies. And so, no, it's a great experience. Okay. And it's girls too. It's not just guys. And
sure.
so we're really proud of what they're doing.
A big project and a big topic, and you brought it up when you came in today, is Fossil Creek. That has been quite, over the years we've followed that, the decommissioning of the Child's power plant and putting that whole creek back to the way it was.
Closing the road off.
And it was just gorgeous. I mean, the pictures I got from there were just amazing.
And I wasn't necessarily in agreement with the Irving plant. I understand the Child's plant because it had been renovated and renovated. The Irving plant was original. And I thought it should have been, my personal thoughts, it should have stayed as a museum, if you will. And if you blocked it off and just had, viewing areas through windows and things, you could see all the old equipment, because that's history. That was really the first electrical power plant in the state of Arizona to feed the mines here in Jerome. And but they didn't. They tore it all down, and they took the flume out. I understand that part, and Steer Lake is no longer existing. However, it's become discovered, and just like
quickly too,
very quickly,
really
and there's a calcium base to the water, a travertine pools. It reminds me a lot of those who have hiked it before of Yavapai, going down in the
very turquoise water,
very turquoise water, but you don't have to hike 4 hours to get there,
right?
And so it's being, unfortunately, recreated to death, and that happens a lot when you're close to, not only does the Verde use it, Valley folks, but Flagstaff uses it, Prescott uses it, and Phoenix discovers it too. The road going in there on 260 from the Camp Verde end, the lower end, is the county. We have an agreement with the Forest Service. We blade that once a year.
Do you know what time of year that's done?
We try to do it in the fall after the summer rains. And then the Forest Service does it once a year also. The road is horrible.
Yeah.
I went out there again not long ago, and I saw that you were lucky to do 10 or 15 miles an hour.
Pretty washboard.
Pretty washboard, potholedy, but there's... The road has been in there for 100 years plus.
Well, you said you used to take that road all the time.
As a kid, we always did all the way through Strawberry around. That was a gorgeous route.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
And go to Child's too. We used to swim at Child's. We had our clothes on. It was good. Child's is notorious, but they've closed that off. They don't want to maintain it, for one, and the two is it gets even worse, that there's so many people. This is the problem with the trails going into the area, is because folks don't realize when you go up to the Strawberry side, you have a 2,000-foot drop to get down to where the falls are. And if you're carrying an ice chest full of sodas and beers and whatever, and you're down there swimming all day, and now you got to hike this thing out of there, and it's 95 degrees, it's tough, and people are leaving junk all over the place. The fire department in Strawberry on busy weekends sometimes has 2 or 3 rescues a day.
Wow. For
folks getting in trouble down there. So that's one problem. Then, of course, you get the same thing that we had at Slide Rock for years, was the fecal contamination when it's overused. So you get that problem. Another problem down below is you can't park. People are parking everywhere. They're even parking on the bridge where the one swimming hole is, where you can't get through. So if there's an emergency, how is an ambulance even going to make it?
We've had pictures of the gridlock down there, and it's just absolutely amazing.
Crazy.
There is no place to drive.
There's no place to drive. Another problem is, the road being rough is 10 or 15 miles an hour. And I was thinking the other day, well, maybe we should do some work on that road, because there's just not hardly any dirt left in places. You'd have to bring what we call plating material on it to help to be able to have something to grade. But then I see, when I went in there last week or 2 weeks ago with my young foster daughter, it was crazy. Even as rough as the road is, the people are flying down that thing. And if you fix that road, now they're going to do 50 miles an hour. There's going to be deaths. People are going to be driving off the road. So maybe the rough road, even though I don't like it, nobody else likes it, it forces people to slow down.
Right.
And then maybe they won't go off some of those cliffs and curves. And so it is what it is. But we're working next week, or in 2 weeks, I'll be with Coconino National Forest. We're going back out there and try to get a game plan going on what we should do. For those who don't know this, on the weekends...
maybe we should take a break.
Let's take a break.
And then we'll come back and talk about that, okay? Let's do that. Yeah. Supervisor Tom Thurman in studio today. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
We taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back to Countywide. Yavapai County Supervisor for District 2, Tom Thurman, in studio today. We were talking about Fossil Creek. I guess that's kind of almost our big topic of the day.
Well, you know, and it is because it's being loved to death. Mm-hmm. And so just so folks, if they don't know that, on Saturdays and Sundays they do counts and they close the road off out of 260.
Right.
And so don't expect to go out there.
Do they do that on the Strawberry side too as well? Block the road off after
Not
a certain
that I'm
amount of
aware
time?
of.
Okay,
No,
so but definitely from the Camp Verde side.
That's exactly
Once
right.
so many vehicles go down there, they definitely shut that road down. And I think the Forest Service, I don't know how many people. Do you know how many they have actually patrolling that on the weekends? It does
I don't know how many people are patrolling it, but I know that I think they're limiting 300 cars.
Because I know the trash has been a problem, and I know illegal camping down there, and then chopping the trees down, the bushes down to use that for firewood has also been going on down there.
They did bring porta-johns though.
Okay,
so that helps quite a bit.
Okay.
But not way out in the boonies, and if you're hiking up in there,
So you said you were going to kind of get together with them next week.
We're going to try to discuss what to do. You know, I mean, is it a visitor center? What do we do about this situation? Do we open the road back up and not have that upper trail where people are constantly getting in trouble going down there? These are all conversations that we're going to have with the Forest Service and the local entities. Mayor German, Charlie German from Camp Verde will be with us also. And so we'll try to work this thing out. Mm-hmm. Hopefully something will happen for next year's season.
Well, when you get down there with that and get through that, let me know.
I'd love to do that.
Give us a call and just maybe some general ideas. I mean, you'd be willing to take public ideas as well.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I'm sure we'll have multiple public meetings on this. This is just the start of it. What should we do versus closing it down? I don't like it when government closes things down, you know, until they figure out what's going on. So, you know, we just got to be careful with the folks and try to make people understand that it's not just a party place, and let's enjoy it, but not ruin it.
Yeah, such a beautiful location down there too. Yeah, it'd be really bad to see it.
Yeah, like I say, it's like going down the Supai in the Grand Canyon without having to hike to it.
Right.
And that's okay. You know, a lot of people don't have the physical ability to hike into something like that, and that is a gorgeous place. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, but anyway, lots of other things going on too besides that. We have Highway 260 is almost finished with the plans, and so I know a lot of folks don't like the roundabouts that are going to be in there heading between Cottonwood and I-17, but they're going to be the larger ones. They're kind of a fly-by roundabout, so the engineers right now estimated versus straight through with no lights, if they put lights in and it was green all the way through, you'll only lose 2.5 to 3 minutes with the roundabouts.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not like 179 or going between on 89A between Cottonwood and Clarkdale. I mean, this is supposed to be the new way. It's not like the roundabout in Happy Valley down there and close to Phoenix, which was one of their first ones and it didn't work well. So
is there one somewhere in Yavapai County we can kind of compare it to?
The only one right now that they've experimented on this one is this larger one is the new one going in to Chino Valley.
Okay, I was wondering
between
about
the
that,
airport and Chino Valley. Yeah,
okay.
and so that's there. You know, ADOT is doing the best that they can with what money they have. We've been very fortunate in Yavapai County. We've gotten a lot of money for a county that doesn't have the population of Scottsdale. We've gotten close to $500 million over the last 15 years.
Nice.
So we've done very well there, but it's still not enough. And the legislature, you know, I understand their needs in Phoenix for funding for schools and for a lot of different things, but they keep sweeping money out of our gas taxes to give to Arizona Department of Public Safety, which no longer now is going to be DPS officers. They're going to be state troopers.
State troopers. Yeah, they are state troopers. Their vehicles are rolling and everything.
Yeah, all the new ones. Now they're not going to paint the old ones. That would be too expensive. But as they replace, now it's a trooper. So they're trying to get more of for the non-felony type of person, they're trying to be a little more friendly looking. And a trooper, they just feel a trooper is kind of like a deputy, you know.
Those blue cars are going to be tough to see in those bushes, though, when they're sitting there on the side of the interstate.
The troopers?
The troopers, yeah. Their new vehicles, sort of a dark blue with a bronze or copper lettering.
It kind of, at a distance, looks almost brown, so we'll see. That'll be... Troopers, yeah. Okay.
And then Cornville Road, happy 100th birthday again, 30th. Cornville Road will be paved, I believe, next week, August 10th, and maybe as long as the August 31st, but that first stretch there from 89A into Cornville will be repaved.
That's correct.
Next
We're
week.
Putting another layer on that, and then we have a single track, talk about hiking trails. We're working on the Coneville trail. Cornville was originally supposed to be Coneville, but they goofed up. They goofed up, and they thought the first post office goes, they must have meant Cornville, and so
they're wrong.
So it was actually Coneville. So we have the Coneville Trail that we've been working on.
That is neat.
Between here and by your offices here and going into Cornville. And so Bridgeport to Cornville will be a nice run, so folks can ride their bike or take a hike or ride their horse into Cottonwood or vice versa into Cornville. So
all on the trails.
All on the trails. We have more wine being produced this year than I don't know what it is, and I think a lot of the folks. Something about the weather this year. I don't know what it is, but it's exploding.
Yeah.
The vines this year for the wine, and I know my trees are it's crazy. Some of my apple trees that I would get maybe 10 or 20 apples on this year were at 100. And the same with the vines. The grapes are coming in great. We should have beautiful, beautiful wines this year.
Well, the animals seem pretty happy. The forest looks great from here all the way up to Flagstaff. It's very green, very happy looking. I imagine the animals are too, as are the plants.
Yeah, as are the Forest Service that likes to do prescribed burns too.
Right. That lightning just seems to be hitting in the right spot every time.
I don't know.
Because we do have a fire.
You know what? We do have a fire.
Taking the break. Maybe when we come back, we'll finish up the show with the SA fire.
Let's do that.
Okay, all right. Tom Thurman in studio today, Yavapai County Supervisor for District 2. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver. The one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Hey, it's Ava, and this is Tess from Do Your Selfie, where we recreate the hottest looks from today's biggest music videos.
After cleaning out our closet, we have a lot of clothes we don't wear anymore.
Like this old pile of t-shirts.
It's not garbage, it's actually a new rug.
And to make it, all you need to do is cut, tie, and glue.
Cut the t-shirt into strips.
Tie the strips into knots.
and glue the knots to the bath mat. I love it. Give your garbage another life
and recycle.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a couple minutes left in the program. We were talking about the SA fire. I had Debbie Meneely from Prescott National Forest on the air yesterday and this morning with kind of the last update she gave me yesterday on that fire. So,
well, that smoke from that fire is actually staying in the desert area down by Black Canyon City. This smoke that we have today in the Verde is from prescribed burns up on the rim, and it just the cold air sinks, you know, as it does, and it comes in the Verde, and hopefully it'll blow out later today. But it's trying to save some pristine forest for the future, that it doesn't burn down like the Rodeo Chedeschi and the Schultz and things like that. Yeah, I see some smoke on Sunday morning. We were out doing something in the morning, and I saw smoke. It looked like in the desert towards Cleator, and so I drove over there, and there's some trails back there I know about, and I hiked up on this side of this hill and looked down, and I actually took a picture of it when it was maybe about 5 acres, and sent that to our emergency manager, management manager, Denny Folk. And within about 20 minutes, here comes an airplane flying around, checking it.
Take a look.
Yeah, and then a Forest Service guy comes up walking behind me, and I said, "Yeah, this is the best vantage point right here." Unfortunately, there's no helicopters in the state right now. All the Dipper helicopters are all being used, you know, on the big fires.
Okay.
Our fire center in Prescott that we would normally load the slurry, it is being remodeled, so it's down. The base down in what they call Williams in Mesa, it's down, and so we had to pull a slurry bomber out of Utah to get them in there, and they had a load in Utah, so they had to fly this thing. It was a jet. It was a big, heavy tanker, and they put one load on it, and they hoped that would have gotten it on Sunday, but it didn't, and it took off some more. The lower desert, below 4,000, 3,500, it's got a lot of dead grass. It had a lot of rain, so, you know, and it died, and so the higher elevations are in pretty good shape. Lower elevations are dry, and so people still need to be careful that, you know, things can happen. But this was lightning caused, so it's Mother Nature doing it.
That's what it is. All right.
That's what it is.
We're out of time. Supervisor Tom Thurman, thank you so much for coming in.
Always nice to do that.
Giving us an update.
I'd be happy to do that more often.
Oh, we'll have you come in again.
Okay.
I'm sure of it. All right. That is today's Countywide. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll talk to you again next time.